seeing that it's 5:30, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Item number 2, discuss possibly approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2020 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? None being heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 3, petitions from the audience. I'm not aware of any. All right, item number 4, mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. On your sales, use tax, and tobacco tax reports, you can see the reports and you can see the totals. When I add to this year's business, the use tax and the tobacco tax, we have a total of $10,780,731.88. You divide that by 12 and you annualize that monthly, and that's about $898,000 per month that we averaged during the year. Our sales tax receipts were up $397,000 over last fiscal year. With the amount of sales tax that we take in, you might say, well, that's kind of flat, and so that's not a huge increase, but it is a little bit of an increase. Our comparison from 2021 fiscal year, 2019 19 and 20 fiscal year. This past fiscal year, we had receipts of sales tax and use tax, $10,688,000. Last fiscal year, we had $10,497,000, and so we are up a little bit, but for all practical purposes, this year compared to last year is probably flat.
Mm-hmm.
Probably flat. So sales tax, use tax, and tobacco tax, $10,780,731. And that's the recap. Do you have any questions?
I do not. Anybody else? Thank you, Mayor. Item number 5, discussion and possible action regarding updating the wording of attachment 7, separation report, and the personnel policy manual. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Any discussion?
We just want to know why.
Yeah, what are we
I thought he was
changing?
coming to it.
Oh.
It looks like we're just asking for just a format as far as the reason of end employment. I don't have.
She included that, hang on just a minute.
Oh.
On attachment 7, I'm not exactly sure. I apologize. Lisa gave me these. I know in the bereavement, I think that's lined out, but
That's the next one. From what I see in our packet, they're just asking for, to add in the separation report as to the reason for the end of employment and an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any concerns with that.
No.
Does anybody else?
No.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 6, discussion and possible action regarding updating the wording of section 12-8 bereavement leave and the personnel policy manual.
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope. I'm good
Not
with that.
really, It was the same thing we went over with police and fire,
Yep.
so,
Hearing no discussion. All those in favor?
aye.
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 Item number 7, discussion and possible action regarding updating the wording of section 12-8. I apologize. apologize. Discussion and possible action regarding updating the wording of section 22-3, group health, dental, and life insurance plans in the personnel policy manual. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion on that one either?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's all good.
Hearing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 8, budget presentation by city accountant Jeff Coker.
How are you all?
Aye.
Good, thank
Uh,
you.
Okay. Does everyone have a copy of this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I went through and looked, and really what the main thing that I have done so far is calculate how much is available to budget for the current year. And I have come to $9,474,046. Okay? So, the actual budget that we have had planned so far, looking at this, now I know it's not complete, and it's still being tweaked, if I'm not mistaken, but at the current moment, it is about 9,100,000. If I can find all the total, yeah, 9,155,000. But we're not done, right?
That's correct.
Okay. But the amount to budget might change a little bit as we, but I don't think it's gonna change much.
Okay. What would make it change?
Well, I find extra things that are paid, that
Okay.
needs to be paid or put to last year, or something that may not need to be put to last year that I counted already.
Okay.
Okay. But generally speaking, and I don't know if the bank accounts have been reconciled yet. Usually the bank account, the statements come out at the end of, I think last week is when they came out. And I don't think they're done yet, so it's possible that some entries need to be made.
Right.
I think everything is in there, because I know all the sales tax and all the taxes are there, so all the big stuff
Right.
is there, but there could be a few minor little things missing.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so we're close.
Does this count the 10% that we have to put back?
It does 90% of the revenues, so yes, the 10% that we subtract out of that is factored into that.
Okay, all right, good.
So your excess, just in case you're wanting to know, I calculated your excess to be about 2.8 million. And your 90% of your revenues will be about 6.7 million, and that comes close to the 9.47.
Okay.
How much was it?
The 90% of the revenues is about 6.7 million,
Okay.
rounding, but, yeah.
Do our revenues meet our expenditures?
Your revenues meet your expenditures. I don't think you spend all your, hold on one second. I have a lot of paper. Your expenditures last year, according to this, were 7.7 million. Your revenues this year were 7.4 million. So they were a little short,
We're a little short, weren't we? We're in the red. Okay, we need to watch
a
that.
couple 100,000. You have reserves of, 2.8 million, so 200,000 isn't terrible, but you can't sustain that forever.
No, we can't keep that up, can we?
No. Okay. I mean, and so I don't know if we're not really here to present any budget figures tonight, but at least you know what we're working with. Is there anything that you want me to go over that?
I don't
We're
have
just getting
anything
started.
at this point, yeah.
Okay.
So we haven't gone through the year-end adjustments or,
No, I'm waiting to get the bank accounts reconciled because if, things change, and I don't want to have to do it again.
Sure, I hear you.
Yeah.
Did the money we received for the CARE Acts, was that included into the revenue last year, or was that a separated account, so that we're not gonna get that every year, so we don't wanna,
Right, now, most of
Count on
the
that.
money that you got was put into a separate fund. Now, we kept some of the revenue in there to cover the expenses that we paid that were attributed to that. So
right,
there's some money in
overtime and
there.
stuff, right?
Yeah, so there's some money in there to match the expenses that were paid out, but I believe 600 and some thousand were moved out to another fund.
Okay,
Yeah, we only left like the 138,000 that we already spent before we
Right,
okay.
voted to move that.
right.
But does that put into the, I guess what I'm saying,
Into the calculations.
It's part of the calculation, but also another thing, we normally, or have in the past, we budget 100% of the MUB money, but I didn't do that either. I only counted 90%. There's a trade-off, but it's not a whole lot,
okay.
okay?
Yeah, the MUB's what, 750,000?
750 plus some other stuff to cover some other expenses, so it turns out to be like 770
Okay,
something, yeah.
okay.
So,
That's fine, thank you, sir, I appreciate that.
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, if you'd mind to hang around, I am going to go through several of these items.
Okay.
May need your help.
So item number 10, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek General Fund Budget, Fund Number 02.
I think you skipped 9.
Yeah, that was item number 9.
Oh, I said number 10.
Okay.
That was item number 9.
Okay.
So all of these items are on our agenda tonight.
Correct.
I would like for the committee to consider tabling most of these things
Yeah.
tonight. We're just, as Jeff said, we're just getting started. Built into all of these budgets is a 3% cost of living increase for all of our employees citywide. This particular sheet that you have on the desk, I'll refer to, and you'll see it's kind of small. I apologize about that. You see about 5 columns over, it says original salary, 3% raise, new rate of pay. So if you go to the last page where the totals are, you'll see that the 3% cost of living increase just for salaries and wages adds about $144,477 to the budget. So the wages presently, $4,964,965, and you add that brings wages to $5,109,443 with that 3%.
But you're not counting the benefit package with it.
That's correct. I'm just referring to the wage part of it. And the rest of that report shows what the FICA is, shows what the SUTA is, and all of those other items. The benefits, the insurance benefit, you all understand that because you were involved in that discussion, Shoya.
Sure.
And so we had an increase there as well.
That was an 8% increase, but actually they talked them down to 8%. They wanted 24%. So
Correct.
quite a good job there.
Also, you have on your desk this proposed pay plan, and the items that are highlighted in yellow are changes. This also reflects a 3% cost of living increase, and it also proposes some range changes. So this is are you looking at this item here?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So with the animal control officer and supervisor, also the community development coordinator, the dispatcher, dispatch supervisor. Those items that are highlighted in yellow are where those changes were. So if I could speak to the general fund, that is item 9 on the agenda. Doing the calculation with our general fund, we should, with the 90%, excuse me, pardon me, will be projected to bring in, if we're at the same numbers that we are this year, about $5 million into adding to the general fund. The general fund covers all of the 02 items, and you can see that we do have reserves of two point some $2 million. We did go above our budget. We did go above our budget. We did use some of the reserves through the year. If I could go ahead and proceed, and please interrupt me with a question at any time. If I could go ahead and proceed through these items, it might make it more fluid.
And efficient, probably.
Thank you. You are looking at this report,
Yes.
okay? So I'll just go through this report.
Now, just before we go on, it says here that we are to discuss, possibly recommend council action. So we're basically going to table this, so that's not happening, right?
I'd like to request that you table.
Okay,
That you
good enough.
table. We'll be required to produce the budget for the next fiscal year by the end of August.
Mhm.
Correct.
So what I would like to do is present, when we get this finished, when Jeff and I get this finished, present this to you at Budget Personnel next month so that it can be presented to council then
Okay.
the second meeting in August. So I guess following protocol of the agenda, it might be that you need a motion to table the.
I'll make that motion that we table to review.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. I won't belabor any of these items, but we'll be very happy to talk about any of them. I assume you're going to move to item 10,
Well, on number 9,
okay?
the 500,000 under the general repair and maintenance. You have Castle Theater and the Park Pool.
Account number ending in 5091.
Right, we've had discussion in council about both of those items. Well, it makes sense to me that if we've had discussion, that I should probably anticipate monies that we may need to spend. So if we came up and we decided, after having discussion, that we needed to spend monies for renovation, then those monies would be budgeted. And that's the reason why I've listed those there. So as far as the park pool, as far as Castle Theater, I've gotten estimates about what those renovation items would be. And I've added those two together, and it's about $500,000. So I'm not necessarily promoting that we would do that renovation, but if we did, we would need to have some way to fund it. And so that's the reason why I've inserted these things.
My question is on the flexible spending account, what that is intended for.
So the flexible spending account is an insurance account, and that's something that we have done just this year. Excuse me. Choi might be able to speak to that more intelligently than myself.
Okay, what we're gonna do is give the employees the ability to have, I'm gonna use a common term, basically have a Benny card. So they'll be able to put money in every month, but they'll have that total amount at the first of the year in case they have a medical situation that they need to use that on.
So this is the healthcare spending?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is, and what we have, and we've had the open enrollment, and so as they have done the open enrollment, they have opted for that, and so in order to do that, we have to fund that. Now, we get those funds back.
Correct.
We get those funds back, but on the front side, we have to fund it, and that's what that is.
Are we looking to have a lot more engineering out, going out this next year?
Anticipating that, yes.
Okay. Do you have any
Now,
areas?
some of that engineering would be, we also have an item in the street department for engineering services. But generally speaking, a lot of these things are done out of the general fund and not necessarily bailiwick
Department.
there in that department. So I'm anticipating several other items.
I noticed that there's some to be announced or to be determined, I guess is what it is, under general unallocated,
Capital outlay.
and, yeah.
So
5041.
typically what we do, and Mr. Coker can correct me if I speak out of turn, is we go through and we try to budget and fund everything that we need to, and then what might be in excess, then we would stick in that bailiwick of unallocated reserves, and then also on that second page as capital outlay.
Okay, that'll be announced before we vote. right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Did I say that right, Jeff?
Item number 10, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek Street Budget, Fund number 14.
Okay, and the fund number 14, Buddy and I have had extensive conversation about street projects. If you look at item 5092, the street drainage projects, the channelization, Bailey Street, Norris Street, the drainage, 7th Street from South Adair to Highway 69. Those two items I have put on that budget list. The channelization on Bailey Street, Norris Street. Bailey Street's a street that runs north and south just west of the hospital.
Mhm.
So south of Old Highway 20 to New Highway 20, there's a real deep drop-off there. That's right next to Shipman's Funeral Home. And there's a perfect spot there to do some retention. We also own two properties there. There's a property there that, another property there that is dilapidated that we may end up with. Not sure about that, but what I've done is I've asked Mr. Powell to give some estimates about what those costs would be. On the 7th Street from South Adair to Highway 69, that's where Goldie's is. Where Vive and Goldie's, and then as that branch comes through and drains, that has great need of being cleaned up. And so that's one of those drainage. There's several property owners there that we've talked to. All but one have been agreeable.
We do have easements coming?
Yeah, all but one have been agreeable, and so we're continuing to speak with one of those to try to grant permanent easements for it. So that'll be a great drainage improvement on that part of town.
Under that 14-145, 5410, that, again, it says street asphalt overlay.
Yes.
We have some drainage going on that one too. It's been raised from 450,000 to 691,779. It also says public-private partnership. Is that a
Okay.
road?
Yeah, I would love to explain that to you.
Great.
We have we have an opportunity. There are 4 developers in town right now who have actually purchased property, and with the intent of developing the property. When you talk about building streets, it's one of the most expensive things that they do. So one of these developers came up with an idea that, well, if it's gonna cost a particular amount of money, maybe we could split that three ways between the developer and the property owner and the city. And so I haven't pitched that. I haven't pitched that yet. But again, if we did do that, then we would need to budget. We'd need to figure out a way to do that. And so that's something that's still under some negotiation. And that's the reason why that's so expensive. Our portion of that would be $80,000, but we would be splitting that three ways. So a developer would be taking $80,000 and a landowner would be taking $80,000. City would be taking $80,000, and so that's the reason why it's listed that way.
I think that's a little more than $80,000 increase though, isn't it?
Pardon me?
Oh, no,
no.
to 690?
No, the 691,000 includes the street drainage, Bailey Street, from Northeast First to 225 foot south of Northeast First Street. So that's part of that drainage thing. That's the street part of that drainage project.
Okay.
So this is not drainage going over into an asphalt overlay. This is actually asphalt overlay as part of that.
Okay.
Part of that project.
That's about the only street work I see on here, really.
Well, the priority one items that street department recommended in May of 2021, part of the asphalt overlay. So there are several asphalt overlay projects around town that are covered in on those priority one items.
So we're on asphalt this year instead of concrete next year? We kind of alternate years.
That's the way that that's the way it shook out
Okay.
as far as the evaluation that Mr. Powell did and recommended to the street department. So the $691,000 that's on there, that may or may not end up being that way. But again, if I'm going to be talking to people who are going to be asking our city engineer to do plans, then if I have estimate numbers what there would be, that's the reason I list it, so that we have the opportunity to spend as we need to. If you could turn to the next page, the estimated funding that street department, if we do the same level of sales tax revenue that we did this year, estimate the street department would take in about $1.7 million. And $1.7 million does not reach that $2.5 million that is listed there in the yellow that would be proposed. So there would be about $762,000 that would come from reserves.
How much is in reserve now?
Right now in reserves, number 14. The total fund equity is $2,275,000. The fund balance is $2,784,000.
Okay.
So that number, though, does not include some of the monies that have been encumbered from that amount, which we are doing right now with street and drainage at 3rd, Northeast 3rd and East Manor, and also 14th and Fairland. So there have been monies that have been encumbered from that total, and I can't tell you exactly what that is. Buddy, do you have an idea?
The amount for our funding that we've got now? For infrastructure, for Steve's engineering for the street project, it was, I think there was $14,000 left for that. Then for our inspections, there was like $9,000 left in that. And then for Envision, that the contractor's doing
from this year over into next year.
That'd be 110 off that 839.
Yep.
Well, plus we still had, H and G, they're still, I forget, like 150-some thousand.
159,000, I think we have left over.
Yeah.
But that has gone, see, that goes back into that fund equity. So we don't lose that.
Yeah, we
It
don't
goes
lose
back
that.
into that fund equity, it's just not recognized in the budget.
Anything further on fund number 14? Do we want to make a motion to table this one?
I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 11, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek Cemetery Care Fund Budget Fund Number 19.
I'll make the motion to table and review.
Okay,
I'll second.
If I could discuss that a little bit, what we do with the Cemetery Care Fund is over the span of years, we accumulate funds from fees, and that goes into that care fund. That's the way that we were able to re-asphalt one of the roads out there this past year. So what I did put in that was $60,000 for road repair. If we're able to accumulate those fees that same way, then toward the end of the year, we perhaps would be able to complete what we started there.
okay.
So that won't be coming out of general fund, that'll be an
No,
accumulated
that
fund?
would be out of Fund 19.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor to table?
Aye.
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 Item number 12, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek Golf Fund Budget, Fund Number 41.
I will make a motion to table and discuss.
Okay,
Second.
If you have any questions about the golf course and the management of the golf course or the funding of the golf course, our golf course director is here. You'll notice the number of dollars that I have proposed to budget is less than it was last year. And we did a real good job of doing some funding with some equipment last year. Our revenues for the golf course are up. The total fund, the total revenues that have been drawn in this year been about $565,000, and that's pretty healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The fund equity right now is at $79,000, or I'm sorry, the total liabilities and equity at $102,000, but the total fund equity about $79,000 that we have right now. So that's a lot better. Looks a lot better this year than it looked last year.
that's correct.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bowman.
Good job. One question, and it's just a question. We've got golf cart maintenance fees here, and they've risen some. So, I mean, with the new golf carts, do we still have a lot of maintenance to have to pull on them, or?
Well, the more we use them, then the more maintenance that we do.
Okay, I was just thinking since they were new, maybe they didn't have
Did
a
I
lot
answer
to
that?
do.
Did I answer that correctly?
Yeah, the more the usage goes up, our usage is like probably doubles and triples
Good,
compared to the previous year.
okay, good, because you make more money off of that too.
Right.
Okay, good enough.
Sales tax goes up along with that.
Mhm. Good.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor to table and review?
Aye.
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 Item number 13, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek Capital Outlay Fund Budget, Fund Number 44. Do I have a
I'll make the motion to table and review.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Oh, I'll have a second.
If I could discuss this for a little bit, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
If you take all of the numbers and you add those up, it comes up to about $905,900.
Correct.
Added those up. Estimate that if we bring in the, through the sales tax revenues, we should bring in, if it's flat the way it is this year, we should bring in about $601,000 toward that account. That would be that if we did the $905,900, then we would need to bring in about $300,000 from reserves. Anticipating Mr. Shropshire's question, we have right now fund equity is about $347,000.
So we're gonna basically wipe it out.
If we did that, yeah, we would wipe out any reserves that we had.
What would we do in case we had a issue with like maybe something at say this building, the air conditioning went down or something like that? Where would we come up with the funds and?
Well, we would fund that out of the general fund. If that happened, we'd fund it out of the general fund. The reason why we have the capital outlay fund, and it's funded by a percentage of sales tax, is so that we can fund equipment, basically so that we can fund equipment. So you have, we fund police car leases out of that. We fund new equipment for the different departments out of that fund. The wall repairs, the equipment with the wall repairs, the animal shelter, we're funding out of that. We'll raise, when the time is right, we'll raise the house at the golf course out of that fund, and supply a mobile home so that we have somebody on board there. So that's planned to fund out of that fund.
Well, you have to have someone there due to the Corps of Engineer ruling that.
Yes,
Yeah, that's something that has to happen.
right.
Now, the 200,000 for the fire department capital outlay, that's to put back for the purchase of a new truck when needed.
Yes, that is the next. Let's see. That's not on the budget proposals, but that is Fund 45, and the way we fund the new fire engines and whatnot is we make a contribution from that capital outlay fund over to that reserve fund for the purpose of trying to fund the new fire engines when we need them. And so we're getting to that point. And talking to BK, we're going to be at the point where we can probably go ahead and fund a new fire engine, perhaps this next year.
The library capital outlay, the $14,500, the cabling and IT, is that part of the renovations and updates and additions?
Part of it is, and part of it's not.
Okay.
So we've kind of combined that, and Nettie, you can correct me if I'm wrong about that. They were talking about the cabling, the additional IT cabling at the library. That's being funded through a capital outlay fund, and part of that is to renew some that we already have, and part of it is because of the expansion. So, yeah.
Any other discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 14, discuss, possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek Real Property Acquisition Reserve Fund Budget Fund number 46. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to table and review.
Second.
Thank you.
So the fund equity that we have in that fund right now is about $314,000. What we are trying to fund through real property acquisition is funding. Normally, Google will make a contribution for the purpose of outdoor Wi-Fi. There's also a push to promote expansion of broadband. So I'm not really sure what that contribution is going to be. but we also do nuisance abatement expensing out of that fund.
Any questions or further discussion?
I'm good.
Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling? Aye.
Aye.
Item number 15, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek Recreation Center Fund Budget, Fund number 84.
I'll make the motion to table and review.
Second.
So, Jessica Long is here to answering questions that I'm not able to answer. The rec center budget's an interesting budget because there are several components to it. It is considered to be an enterprise zone that is also funded by sales tax revenue. So, if we stay level with the sales tax receipts this next year that we are right now, we'll bring in about $668,000 through sales tax revenue, and then the rest of that budget would be funded through receipts. I've done a little bit of calculating about that. So sales tax plus the revenue. So if we bring in about the same amount of revenue that we bring in sales tax, then we'll be able to completely fund that $1.267977 million. Okay, so will we do that? Chances are we will. Will we have to dip into reserves? Perhaps we will. The substantial reserves that we have there, that fund equity right now is $1.315 million. And so we have some fund equity to dip into that for operations. However, there are some things that we have need to do at the rec center, like repair a roof.
Well, and that was gonna be one of my questions on the 5091 account, repair and maintenance. There's nothing budgeted for that.
And the reason why, okay, you said 5091. Well, that's an oversight. I didn't get it transferred over to that. We know that we're going to have some roof maintenance. We also know that we're going to have some other maintenance there. So, Jessica, on that 5091 line item, I'll be putting something in there. That's on the 84 account.
Question I have, the outdoor fitness court, have we got any information on people, that are partnering up with us or anything?
I have one that's agreed to do just a small partnership. The big one that I'm waiting on, they have not said no yet. I got some more information to them this week, so
Okay.
I'm hoping. I talked to National Fitness Campaign last Tuesday, so we kind of pushed all of our time milestones back a little bit.
Mhm.
We're gonna give them till like mid-August, but it's one of those, I wanna be patient because I would love for them to be our partner, but they're not gonna be. I need kind of plan B, so.
Okay,
But we're trying to, we're trying to give it just a little bit more time before we move on.
no problem. I just wondering where you
Yeah,
guys were
we're
at.
still making a little bit of progress.
Good.
All right, any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 16, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek Public Works Authority Fund Budget, Fund number 88.
I'll make a motion that we table and review.
I'll second.
So fund number 88, we fund street department to go to do the brush dump thing. So that's part of where the salaries come from on that part of it, and we pay that out of there. Mosquito spraying, some of the nuisance abatement comes out of there. The dues to Grand Gateway that we pay comes out of that fund.
Any questions or discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 17, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek E911 Fund Budget, Fund number 91.
I'll make a motion to table and review.
Second.
Discussion about that. So, for a few years now, we've known that we have not, the 911 fees don't pay for the service. And so, although we want to keep the 911 service and we want to be able to provide that service, so on the 91 account, the 911 service, we have to supplement that from the general fund. So if you look at the general fund, there's an item on there, it's 02-201-5280, E911 expenses. And
What was that? 02-201 what?
Yeah, 02-201-5280.
Thank you.
So the E911 expenses.
Mhm.
So we get fees from 911, but it's not enough to support the service. We can either ditch the service or we can supplement the service. And in talking to our law enforcement folks and whatnot, it's best that we supplement the service
Sure.
and keep it going.
Not that many landlines anymore.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item number 18, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the 2021-2022 City of Pryor Creek COVID Reimbursement Fund number 05.
So this is a new fund. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion.
Want a second?
What's her motion?
To table and
To
review.
table and review.
Okay, I'll second it.
So we've created a new fund, it's the 05 fund. Right now, we do not have the expenditure with comparison to budget portion of that fund set up, but that is coming soon. We have, council voted to fund phase 1 and phase 2 of Salt Branch, the Salt Branch cleanup. That's going to come to about $113,000, and that'll be funded out of that 05 fund. The equity that's in that fund, Jeff, we're going to need to figure this one out, because the equity that's showing in this is not, I know that it's not correct. So it's in the 05 fund. We're showing about $584,000 in that fund, but when I do my math, and I mean, I may do my math wrong. That's the reason why we have Jeff with us, to keep mayor and budget personnel and council,
Everybody honest.
and clerk and everybody on track.
Well, but theoretically, we have to move money over, but we haven't paid anything out yet.
Okay, so that's,
So that fund balance is correct, because that's how much cash is in the bank for that fund.
yeah, so we actually have had expenditures against that, and I'm not sure how they've been tracked.
Well,
So,
that's one of those things that where I said things will change.
yeah. So my calculations show that we've got about $390,000 in that, left in that fund. But I'll be happy to sit down with you and share my calculations. They look a whole lot like your dad's calculations. They're all,
I just need to see what was spent out of there.
okay.
And find where it is elsewhere if we've already spent it, so.
Okay. We can do that. Between Eva and myself and you, we can get that done. So, but that new fund, we also don't know, we've been told that there's going to be other funding that come to us from the federal government. But we haven't seen it. They told us we were going to get it the middle of June, but we still haven't seen it. We also have not gotten the real clear picture about what the requirements are gonna be for us, to spend those monies.
Also,
But-
do we share that with MUB?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we sure will,
Mhm.
we sure will. And I'm sure they're looking forward to getting some too.
Think they are.
So,
We
anyway,
haven't
that
even-
05 fund is a new fund that's been set up specifically to be able to receive those revenues and then also to expend revenues as we choose.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Number 19, unforeseeable business. Not aware of any. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And item number 20, adjournment. Do I
I'll
have
make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.